we're gonna start just standing. We're gonna start with a little bit of balance work. So making sure our feet are in parallel, we're standing hip width apart, and we're standing nice and tall. We're just gonna start with lifting our heels. So you're gonna lift the heels up and then slowly lower down. So making sure that when you rise up onto the balls of your toes, that all the balls of your toes are connected, and then you control it back down. Reason being, you want your baby toe. Often people will come up so high their baby toe lifts off the floor. We want to make sure that we keep the baby toe still connected as we lift and lower. So we float up and then control it back down. Float up and then control it back down. The other thing you're gonna watch with when you're doing this is that your ankles or your feet don't roll out. So one indication is actually that you come up too high. Again, then you might splay out through the ankles. So we wanna try and keep those ankles in parallel as we lift and lower. From there, I want you to keep your heels down, lift your toes up. So really draw the toes up. I want you to spread them and then lower back down. So you're lifting the toes up, try to really make them nice and wide, and then lower back down. As you do this, watch that you're not locking into your knees. So you're gonna lift the toes nice and wide, and then lower back down. Lift the toes nice and wide, and lower back down. And to make that even harder, you're gonna play the piano. So you're gonna float the toes up, spread them, place them one toe at a time down onto the mat. And then again, you lift the toes up, spread them, place them. Try to place them down one toe at a time. Easier said than done. Two more. Float the toes up, spread, placing them one toe at a time. And it's not uncommon to do it with your hands at the same time as you're concentrating. Float the toes up, spread, and place them one toe at a time down. Good. From there, I want you to keep your toes down and try to lift your big toe up and then back down. Lift your big toe up and then back down. Lift the big toe and then back down. Two more. And again, sometimes easier said than done. And then you're going to try and keep your big toe down and lift your little toes. So trying to keep the big toe down as you lift the opposite toes. And then watch that you don't lock into those knees. I love to lock my knees, so that's why I'm so aware of trying not to do that. So last one. Good. So make sure that your hip bones are nice and level. We're doing a little bit of balance work first as you lift one knee. So as you lift that knee up, watch that you don't hike the hip. So we want to keep the hip bones level. Lower back down, we're going to alternate legs. Shift the weight over to the opposite foot. Keep the pelvis nice and level. And then lower back down. So we're alternating, thinking about the hip bone staying nice and even. As we shift our weight, again, making sure that we're not locking into the standing knee. As well as when you transfer the weight, connect into that glute. So we don't want our hip to pop out. We want to connect into that glute, keep the pelvis nice and level as we shift the weight into the standing leg. And we're going to do one more on each side. And really spread the weight across the toes. And then we're going to extend the leg back. And as you do that, the upper body will come forward. So picture a teeter-totter. As you teeter-totter forward, the heel lifts and the upper body comes down, and then you come back up. So what I mean by the teeter-totter, what you don't want to do is break at the waist and then lift your leg. Think of your heel lifting. So your heel lifts, you only go as far as the leg moves. Once the leg is done moving, you use your standing leg to come back up to standing. Inhale as you hinge forward. Exhale back up. We're going to do two more of those, focusing on the hips staying nice and square and making sure that you're spreading the weight across the foot. And I like a soft knee bend. That helps me connect into the glute instead of locking into the knee. So we're going to shift feet. Again, spread the weight across the balls of the toes. Keep the hips nice and square. Inhale as you teeter-totter forward, and then coming back up. Inhale as you teeter-totter forward, and then come back up. Keeping the hips nice and square. You might notice a difference from one leg to the other. Balance especially. Really spread the toes. If you're standing on a Pilates or yoga mat, you might actually need to step off to the side because the mats are squishy and that can affect your balance as you're doing these. So we're going to go back to the first leg, but now we're going to add in arms. So as you teeter-totter forward, I want the arms to reach forward and then come back up. Inhale, reach the arms as you teeter-totter forward and then back. Inhale forward, exhale back. 2 more. Again, keep that standing knee nice and soft and really spread the weight across the balls of the toes. We're switching legs, but we're also going to change the arm movement. So as you teeter-totter forward, I want you to bend your elbows and pinch the shoulder blades back. And then they're going to reach back down towards the floor. So you can even think of making a W with your arms as you teeter-totter forward and come back. Don't forget about the hips, trying to stay nice and square as you do that. 2 more. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Good. So just going into running or prancing. So one heel is lifted and then you're alternating. So one foot, then the other, and you're articulating through the feet as you do that. 3, 2, 1, and then we're going to go into our standing roll down. So you're going to take a nice deep breath. Arms are going to stay overhead. Think from the top of the head. Inhale, nod the chin, scoop the abdominals as you dive up and over, rounding the back as you go down. Inhale, take a nice deep breath. Exhale as you roll back up. So if you are in the middle of your mat, step back because we are going to walk out. Again, take a nice deep breath. We're going to roll down. Inhale, scoop the abdominals as you round up and over, drawing those abdominals up as you round down. Bend your knees if you need to so you can touch the mat. And then you're going to walk out into your plank. So walk out until your shoulders are directly over your wrists. So nice long line like you're doing a plank. 3 nice deep breaths. Inhale into the back and the sides of the ribs. And then exhale, release. 2 more breaths. Think nice and wide across the collarbones. And lifting up through the front of the thighs. On the 3rd breath, slowly lower 1 knee at a time down to the mat. So if you find it hard to be flat on the wrists, you're always welcome to come onto your fists instead. So just going into your cat, mobilizing that spine a bit, tuck the tailbone, scoop the abdominals around the back, letting the head hang, lengthen out, drop the belly, and lift the head. And then again, tuck the tailbone, scoop the abdominals around the back, letting the head hang, and then lengthen out, drop the belly, and lift the head. 2 more. Exhale up, inhale out, exhale up, inhale out. Find your neutral spine. So think about lightly lifting up the lower abdominals. So I'm going to give 2 different options for this one. Level 1, just the leg is going to extend. So you're going to extend the leg and lift up, lower down, and control it in. Concentrating on keeping the hips nice and square as you extend. If you want to take it a little bit further, add in that opposite arm. So opposite arm and leg extend, remembering to stay lifted through the lower abdominals. Inhale as you reach, exhale, come back in. Inhale, reach, exhale, back in. Remember to keep the neck nice and long. I know you can be looking at the screen, but once you have the idea, you want to think about looking at the front edge of your mat so that your neck is nice and neutral. And then from there, I want you to tuck your toes under. So you're gonna curl your toes under. And on this one, again, if you find the wrist hard, you'll be able to do this exercise on your forearms. So it's okay to come down onto your forearms if you need to. So strong shoulders, lift the lower abdominals, hover the knees off the mat, and lower back down. Exhale, lift the lower abdominals, and then control it back down. Exhale up, inhale down. Exhale up, inhale down. One more. Give your wrists a break so you can either shake them out or interlace your fingers and do a figure 8 with the wrists. And then we're going to come back into that 4-point position. So again, hands come directly underneath the shoulders. We're going to end up hovering the knees again, but we're going to alternate lifting the leg. So you're going to inhale, take a nice deep breath to prepare. Exhale as you hover the knees. From there, you're going to extend the leg and then slowly lower down. Same thing on the opposite side. So we're alternating. I'm not lifting too high, and I want to make sure that it's coming from the hip joint. Inhale on one side, exhale on the other. One more on each side. And then you can slowly lower down. Either go into your cat pose or reach back into your child pose to stretch out that back. So 3 nice deep breaths. And then we're going to come on to our back. So we'll do a little bit of pelvic neutral first. So hip bones and pubic bone are nice and level. Lower abdominals are lightly engaged to find our neutral. From there, we're going to melt the low back into the mat. So we're just rocking the pelvis and then coming back to your neutral. As we rock the pelvis back and forth, concentrate on making it come from the front side of your body, trying not to clench into your butt. So the butt staying nice and relaxed. Think about shortening the distance between your hips and your ribs and then lengthening back out. Exhale as you melt the low back into the mat and then come back to neutral. One more. And we're going to take that right up into our bridge. So you're going to tuck the tailbone, fire the glutes, peel the spine up, inhale, take a nice deep breath, and then roll through the spine one vertebrae at a time back down towards the mat. Again, tuck the tailbone, fire the glutes, peel the spine up, think wide across the collarbones. You can even push the arms into the floor and then slowly roll back down. And then again, tuck the tailbone, fire the glutes, peel the spine up, inhale, and then exhale as you roll back down. We're going to do 2 more of those. And then staying nice and wide. If you want to make it a little bit harder, you can extend the arms straight up into the air, but still making sure that you stay nice and wide across the collarbones. So from there, try to maintain your neutral, but if you do find that you're having any discomfort into the low back, let the low back melt into the mat. You're going to bring one foot up to tabletop. Second leg comes up to meet it. Keep those lower abdominals engaged. Toes are connected to start. Just inhale as you open. Exhale as you close the thighs. So we're just externally rotating, internally rotating. Inhale as you open. Exhale, close. 2 more. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Now you're going to reverse. You're going to keep the knees together and open the feet. And if your internal rotation is tight, it's not going to go very far. Inhale and exhale. So keeping the knees together and letting the shin bones spread out and come back in. So they turn out and come back in. One more. Come to parallel. From there, we're going into our toe tap. So keep those lower abdominals on. From the hip joint, I lower down. Exhale, pull the abdominals in to lift the leg back up. Inhale as the thigh moves away. Exhale, scoop to bring it back in. So what we want to avoid is dropping the foot. So what you don't want is your foot to drop down and then lower down to the mat. You want to keep the 90 degrees at your knee joint and move from the hip. So the knee stays at 90 degrees. We move from the hip joint. Inhale down, exhale up. We're going to do one more on each side. If you need a break, you can take a break by either hugging the knees into the chest or lowering the feet down to the floor. Then double check that you're still in your neutral, or if you were in imprint for that, you're going to remain in your imprint. Bring your feet back up to tabletop. And we're going to do double leg lower and lift. So again, it's still coming from the hip joint. Both thighs lower away, exhale, pull back in. So you might notice a big change in your range of motion depending on how well you can maintain your neutral. Inhale down, exhale, scoop and come in. Inhale down, exhale up. Two more. Inhale as the thighs move away, exhale, scoop and pull towards you. Inhale away, exhale in. From there, side to side. So as you go to one side, your hip can lift, but your shoulder must stay down. Exhale, pull those abdominals in to bring you back to center. Inhale as both thighs go over to the opposite side of the room. Exhale, use those abdominals to come back to center. Again, the shoulders stay down. Inhale away, exhale back to center. Inhale away, exhale back to center. So one thing you might want to pay attention to is, are your thighs sinking into your belly? Because I was definitely starting to go there. I still want to try and keep my knee directly over my hip. So we're going to do one more on each side. Inhale as you go over to one side. Exhale, come back to center. Last one. Inhale away. Exhale back to center. Good. Lower the feet back down to the floor. Find your neutral again. So earlier when we lifted our hips, we were rolling through the spine. Now this time when you lift, I want you to maintain your neutral spine. So my spine stays straight. Tailbone is anchored. Press through the heels and come straight up and lift the hips. Lower back down. Press through the heels, lift the hips, really connect into those glutes, and then lower back down. And again, if you want to make it more challenging, let the arms extend straight up towards the ceiling. Two more. Exhale as you come up. Inhale down. Exhale up. Inhale down. So we're going to go into single leg extension. So you're going to lift the hips first. Bring one foot up to tabletop. From there, extend the legs straight up into the air. You're going to lower that leg. Lift that leg. We're going to do two more on that side. Inhale down, exhale up, inhale down, exhale up. Bring it back to tabletop. Lower the foot, toe ball heel. Same thing on the opposite side. We come up to tabletop first. Extend the leg. Lower and lift. Two more. Inhale down, exhale up, inhale down, exhale up. Bring it to tabletop. Slowly lower. Toe ball here. We're going to do it one more time on each side. Knee comes up to tabletop. Extend it up towards the ceiling. Lower the leg. Lift the leg. Inhale down. Exhale up. Last one. Bring the knee back to tabletop and slowly lower, toe ball heel. Again, other side. Knee comes up to tabletop. Extend up. Inhale down. Exhale up. Inhale down. Exhale up. One more. Bring the knee back to tabletop and slowly lower, toe ball heel. Lower the hips straight down. Bring the knees into the chest and give them a hug. Just rock side to side or draw circles with your knees. And then we're going to roll onto our side for side kicks. So when lying on your side, you can use your bottom hand to support your head, or you can extend your arm so that it's straight out in front of you. Either way, I want you to line yourself up on the back edge of your mat first and make sure you're in a straight line, which includes your head, because sometimes we want to turtle forward. So we got to include the neck and shoulders. From there, swing your feet forward towards the front corner of the mat. Make sure the hips and shoulders remain stacked. Top hand can be used on the mat for support. To make it harder, you can place it behind your head. When you're ready, inhale, top leg's gonna float up. Nice and slow back down. Inhale, top leg floats up. Exhale down. So you want to feel like you're moving through mud. You're actively engaging that leg. So really think about reaching it nice and long, creating length. Inhale as the leg floats up, and then exhale down. One more. Inhale up, exhale down. You're going to hold it hip height. Inhale as that top leg comes forward. Squeeze the bum and draw it back. Again, inhale as the top leg comes forward. Squeeze the bum and draw it back. We want the upper body to stay nice and still, so we don't want to be counterbalancing at all. And the other thing you can do is you can always bend that bottom leg if you're finding it difficult to maintain your balance. Inhale forward, exhale back. Inhale forward, exhale back. 3 more. And still lightly drawing in those lower abdominals. And then we're going to do big circles. So grand rond de jambe. Leg comes forward, circle up and around. Inhale, leg comes forward, you circle up and around. Inhale forward, exhale around. Inhale forward, exhale around. Then you're going to change the direction of your circle, up and then forward and down. Inhale up, exhale around. So I'm really using my top hand to help me stabilize. I'm still thinking about drawing in those lower abdominals. And then I really got to use the muscles around my hip to create that rotation. Now from there, top leg, draw it along the bottom leg, extend it up into the air, and then slowly lower down. So you drag it along the bottom leg, extend up into the air, and then again, feel like you're pressing through mud so that you're really engaging those legs. Inhale along the leg, extend up, and then lower down. One more. Inhale along the leg, extend it up, and then lower down. We're going to switch directions. Inhale up, bend the knee, and then slide it back out. Inhale up, bend the knee, and then slide it back out. Inhale up, exhale down. One more. And then just getting a little bit of lower leg. So you have an option with the top leg. You can bend it and place it in front or back. It's your choice. I like to place it in front and actually hold my top leg. Bottom leg is going to connect. And then you're going to think about inner thigh to lift that bottom leg. Watch that you don't start to roll back. So sometimes people have that urge to want to roll back to get more height. Don't worry about the height. Focus on the hips staying square and connecting into that inner thigh. Last one. And then you can roll onto your back and stretch your hip out. So the leg you worked on top is the leg that goes ankle on the knee. So I worked my left leg, left ankle goes on the right knee, and then you pull it into the chest and stretch out the hip. So again, 3 nice deep breaths. And then we're going to roll over and do the opposite side. So again, line yourself up on the back edge of your mat, stacking your hips and shoulders. Make sure that includes your neck when you line yourself up. And then you can swing your feet forward towards the front corner of your mat. When you're ready, top leg's going to float up and then nice and slow back down. Inhale, top leg floats up and then nice and slow back down. So I feel like I'm slightly lifting up through my waistline, lightly drawing my lower abdominals in. Inhale as I lift the leg, and then I squeeze through mud as I slowly lower. Inhale as I float up, exhale as I lower. Last one. And then again, we want to remember to keep the upper body nice and still. Top leg's about hip height. Inhale as it comes forward, squeeze the glute and draw it back. Inhale as you reach forward, exhale back. Inhale forward, exhale back. Think about reaching nice and long. Really try to create some length in that leg. You're trying to make them feel longer than they are. Inhale forward, exhale back. 2 more. Inhale forward, exhale back. And last one. And then we're doing our big circles. So the leg comes forward, it opens up and circles around. Inhale forward, exhale around. Inhale forward, exhale around. Now, if anyone is feeling any popping in the hip or any discomfort, I want you to decrease the size of your circle. We're going to change directions. Inhale up and forward, and then down and back. Inhale up and forward, and then down and back. Inhale up and around, down and back. Last one. And then we're going to finish with our developpe. So the top leg drags along the bottom leg, extend it up, and then lower down. Inhale, drag it along the bottom leg, reach for the ceiling, and then squeeze through mud as you lower. Inhale, bend and extend, reach nice and long. One more, bend and extend, and then reach nice and long. We're going to reverse. Float it up towards the ceiling. Bend the knee and slide it back along the leg. Float up, bend the knee, slide it back along the leg. Inhale up, exhale down. Last one. And then we're going to take that top leg either in front or back. And then the bottom leg is going to lift and lower. So connect into that inner thigh and then lower down. Exhale up, inhale down. Exhale as you float, inhale back down. Exhale up, inhale down. And we got 3 more. Really think about squeezing that inner thigh, drawing those lower abdominals in. Last one. And then you can roll onto your back and stretch out the hip. So again, it was the top leg that is the ankle that goes on the knee. So I worked my right leg, placed the right ankle on the left knee, and then pull the thigh into the chest to stretch out the hip. 3 nice deep breaths. And then we're going to go into our series of 5. So remember, with our series of 5, you have the option of head up or down with the various exercises. So you can either leave your head down. You're going to bring your knees up to tabletop. When you're ready, nod the chin and peel the head and shoulders if you're choosing that option. One knee comes into the chest as the opposite leg reaches, and then switch. Inhale on one side, exhale, switch. Inhale and exhale. Think again about that free leg reaching nice and long. Lower abdominals are drawing in. Your eye contact is towards your thighs if you're lifting the head. Inhale and exhale. Bring both knees into the chest and lower the head. We're going to go into double leg stretch. So again, if you're choosing to lift the head, nod the chin, peel the head and shoulders up, reach both arms and legs away. Exhale, circle the arms as you tuck the knees in. Again, reach away. Exhale, circle and tuck. Inhale away. Exhale in. If your head is lifted, keep looking towards your thighs. Inhale away. Exhale, tuck. Inhale out. Exhale in. Inhale out. Exhale in. Last one. And then lower down. If you're going to leave your head down for scissors, make sure you grab lower on your thigh. Otherwise, you're going to grab up as high as you can reach when you're doing your scissors. So again, if you're choosing to lift the head, nod the chin, peel the shoulders up. Legs extend up into the air. One leg comes towards you as the opposite leg lowers. We're going to add in a pulse. Pulse, pulse, switch. Pulse, pulse, switch. Pulse, pulse, switch. Pulse, pulse, switch. Inhale for 2. Exhale for 2. Inhale for 2. Exhale for 2. Inhale. Exhale. And we got 2 more on each side. Good. And then again, bring your knees into your chest and lower down. For double leg lower and lift, I like to interlace the fingers, place them behind the head. If you're leaving your head down, that's fine. Or nod the chin, peel the head and shoulders up. Legs extend. They don't have to be perfectly straight. No matter what, we lower from the hip joint. Exhale, scoop and come in. Inhale from the thighs. Inhale, lower. Exhale, up. Inhale, down. Exhale, up. Inhale, lower. Exhale, scoop. Inhale from the hips. Exhale, pull with those lower abdominals. Inhale, down. Exhale, up. Last 2. Really use that exhale to connect into those abdominals. And then slowly lower down. To finish, we got crisscross. So today, let's have our arms beside our body. Now, if you find it hard on your neck, go ahead and put your hands behind your head, but I'm going to keep my arms at my side. Again, knees are at tabletop. We're going to nod the chin, peel the head and shoulders up. When the knee comes in towards you, think about the shoulder coming up and across. It just prevents us from pulling on our neck when we don't have our hands behind our head. And then you switch. So shoulder goes up and across, up and across. Inhale, up and over. Exhale, switch. Inhale, up and over. And the opposite leg is reaching nice and long. Really contract that leg. Create length. 2 more on each side. Good. And then slowly lower down. Stretch out and wiggle those fingers and toes away from each other. And take a nice deep breath into the lower belly. So we just got one more thing left. Now with this next exercise, you do want your feet to move. Mainly, I say that because if you're on your mat, you might find that the mat will kind of catch. So you might choose to put your feet off the edge of the mat if you have like a hardwood floor or a carpet. So my legs are draped to one side of the body. I have my top leg in front of my bottom foot. So if I just turn, my right foot is in front of my left, and then my heels line up with my sit bone. My left arm is going to be my moving arm, and it's just slightly ahead of my shoulder. When I come up, I want to think about pushing up and over my arm. So I'm going into a side bend. So I'm going to press with my feet, lift through the waistline, inhale as I go up and over, and then transfer the weight back to my feet as I slowly lower down. We're going to do 2 more of those. So I push with my feet, transfer the weight into that arm, lift up and over, and then control it back in. Now, if you're having a hard time with the wrist, go ahead and be on your forearm. It's just not going to be as big of an arc. Last one, inhale up and over. And then exhale as you lower back down. Good, we're going to switch sides. So swing your legs over to the opposite side. The top leg is the foot that crosses over. My hand is slightly ahead of my shoulder. When you're ready, I'm going to take the weight, transfer it into my arm as I arc up and over the supporting arm. Feel the weight transfer back to my feet as I slowly lower down. 2 more. Use the legs. Squeeze the inner thighs together as you arc up and over, and then control it back down. Last one. Press through the feet, lift through the waistline, strong shoulder, and then control it back down. Excellent. Just finish with a couple stretches. So bottoms of the feet together. Let the knees fall out wide. Don't worry about how close your feet are to you. It depends on your flexibility. Just think about sitting up nice and tall, and then 3 nice deep breaths. And on that last breath, I want you just to slowly pull yourself forward, but keep the length in your back. And one more breath. Good. Feet are roughly about hip width apart. Again, you're nice and tall. Grow tall through the crown of your head. I want you to take a nice deep breath and slide your hands along your shins. So notice that I didn't just collapse over my legs and reach for my feet and round my back. I kept my back straight. So I just hinged from the hips and I'm maintaining that length. Take a nice deep breath. And on your exhale, try to maintain that straight back as you try to hinge a little bit farther. One more. Inhale, nice deep breath. And exhale, see if you can take it a little bit deeper. Good. And then we're going to finish with some calf stretches for that balancing work that we did at the beginning. So come onto your hands and knees. You can do this on your forearms if you need to. Curl your toes under and come up into a downward dog. So I'm going to shift my weight back. From here, drop one heel as the opposite knee bends. And I'm going for length in that leg, getting a nice calf stretch. So I'm just going to take a nice deep breath into it. Switch sides. Same thing, hold. Get a nice deep breath. Just run the feet a little bit. So going back and forth, one foot, then the other. 3, 2, 1. Hold. And if you need to come down onto your forearms, you're okay to do that. Take a nice deep breath. Switch. And then slowly lower the knees. And again, either go into your child pose or your cat to finish. Nice deep breath into the back and the sides of the rib cage. And then release. Excellent job, everyone. Hope you enjoyed that. And then we will be sending out details next week for how we will actually be doing our online classes going on into the future. The unforeseeable future. So stay tuned. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to shoot me an email or a text message or something. Take care and hope to see you guys sooner than later.